Hello everyone, thank you for joining us on this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Équinoxe Television. We are broadcasting from Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. I am Bable Jonathan. In our top stories in this edition of the news, international rights organization Human Rights Watch urges Cameroonian authorities to respect the right to peaceful demonstration of citizens, immediately release all those wrongfully arrested and detained, and also to ensure that the people have the right to move about and do whatsoever they want to do. And of course, they are also urging the Cameroon government to investigate the conduct of Cameroonian forces of law and order in the crackdown on political leaders of the opposition in 2020. And ahead of the visit of the special envoy of Pope Francis to the northwest and southwest regions of the country, tonight we're going to be looking at what the church, the Roman Catholic Church, has been able to do this far in efforts to solve the Anglophone crisis. We'll also take you 50 years down memory lane into the assassination of one of Cameroon's nationalists, Ernest Wanji of the Union des Populations du Cameroun. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on this edition of the news on Équinoxe Television. We begin with a statement coming from the international rights organization Human Rights Watch, condemning the refusal by a court in Yaoundé to grant the release of leaders, according to the organization, wrongfully arrested and detained in the Republic of Cameroon. And on January 12, an appeal court in Cameroon rejected legal efforts to secure the release of Olivier Bibounisak and Alain Foguetedom, two prominent members of the country's main opposition party, the Cameroon Renaissance Movement political party, as well as 20 other MRC members. They were arrested in September 2020 while exercising their right to freedom of assembly and have been in custody since then. The organization further indicates that the court's decision came after a lower court rejected a habeas corpus request filed by the defendants on November 5, 2020. Bibounisak and Alain Fogué face politically motivated charges, including attempted revolution, rebellion, and unlawful assembly. According to Human Rights Watch, these are politically motivated charges leveled against them, and they were first held in police custody for over a month at the Secretariat of State for Defense in Yaoundé before being transferred to Yaoundé Central Prison on November 3rd for a 6-month pre-trial detention period. And that said, the organization says they were kept in total isolation, deprived of any reading materials, and frequently denied access to their lawyers. Bibounisak and Alain Fogué, according to Human Rights Watch, were arrested as part of a massive government crackdown on peaceful demonstrations organized by the Cameroon Renaissance Movement on September 22nd across Cameroon, while including the arrest of over 500 people, mainly CRM members and supporters. And of course, the organization is calling on Cameroonian authorities to respect the rights of citizens to demonstrate peacefully, immediately release all those wrongfully held, and investigate law enforcement officers' conduct in the 2020 crackdown and treatment of detainees. Stand Up for Cameroon civil society platform is equally asking for the immediate and unconditional release of some of its members arrested and detained in the New Bell prison here in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. Musa Bello, Mira Angung, Sama Etienne, and Tele Membu as some of the militants, or better still, members of Stand Up for Cameroon civil society platform who were arrested and detained since September 18, 2020. According to the Stand Up for Cameroon Civil Society platform, their arrest and detention were arbitrary and illegal, and so they should be immediately and conditionally released. This is the request of the Stand Up for Cameroon Civil Society platform, asking for the release of its members arrested and detained after a Friday in Black meeting here in Cameroon's economic capital. That was since 18th of September 2020. Coming up, Innocent Aze takes us 50 years down memory lane into the assassination of one of Cameroon's nationalists, Ernest Wandier, for continuously opposing French colonial rule. And according to the paramount ruler of the Bamanju people in the west region of the Republic of Cameroon, His Royal Majesty Sokoju Jean Rameau II, this is a bad thing for Cameroon, and it is a bad thing for Cameroon that these people have not been honored. These people who died for the fatherland, talking about Ernest Wandier, talking about Felix Moumet, and even the first president of the Republic of Cameroon, Amadou Ahidjo. Innocent Aze.
January 15th, 2020 marks exactly 50 years when the last standing die-hard leader of the Union des Populations du Cameroun, UPC, Ernest Wandier, an outspoken and brilliant Cameroonian and African hero, was executed in Bavoussam West region after he and 3 others were condemned to capital punishment 10 days prior by a military tribunal. The freedom fighter and teacher was tied to a pole facing a firing squad. He was accused of attempting to create a revolution, the organization of armed bands, assassinations, and other things. Ernest Wandier, who was declared as #1 enemy by then President Amadou Ahidjo, till present has never been honored historically or celebrated alongside other fallen nationalists of the UPC by the state.
Chaque dimanche, vous vous mettez dans des camions, tout ce que vous avez pour aller faire le deuil au village. Est-ce que vous avez fait les deuils de ceux qui se sont morts pour nous?
Today, the traditional ruler of the Bamenjo people, Sokoju Jean Rameau, questions again why these heroes were not given a befitting burial, and also ensure return of Ahidjo's remains to the country, as he had petitioned in an open letter to the head of state.
Vous les avez enterrés où? Est-ce qu'il ne peut pas, ceci ne peut pas être à l'origine de nos malheurs?
To him, this could be reason why the country is plagued by so many crises and misfortunes.
Même le pouvoir, il faut faire quelque chose en mémoire de ceux-là, comme dans tous les autres pays du monde.
Ernest Wandier became UPC member in 1948 and was elected 4 years later as vice president. His UPC had in April and May 1955 held a series of militant meetings, circulated pamphlets, and organized strikes to free Cameroon from colonial rule. An armed revolution broke out in Cameroon, with the UPC nationalist rebels conducting a fierce struggle against the French, who fought back equally ruthlessly, resulting to most of the UPC leaders seeking refuge in swamps and forests. Ernest Wandier had taken refuge in Kumba in 1956, but was later deported to Khartoum, Sudan, upon pressure from the French and later to other African countries. After Cameroon gained independence in 1960, UPC rebels, who had been fighting the French colonial government, continued to fight the government of President Amadou Ahidjo, whom they considered to be puppets of the French. This was met with what was known as pacification campaign in the Bamileke territory, some areas in the center and littoral regions, resulting to many deaths. Ernest Wandier was arrested in August 1970 during last battalion of the UPC. On January 15th, 1971, he was shot by a death squad in the market in Bafoussam. A day that was historic in Bafoussam as the populations were forced to witness the execution of their leader.
Ils ont été fusillés le 15 janvier 1971. Ils étaient 3.
Police officers used tear gas today to disperse angry business persons or traders at the Ndokpasi market in the Douala 3 subdivision. The traders were standing against the demolition of their makeshift shells, and these shells have been destroyed by council authorities on grounds that they were established at the wrong places, at unauthorized places. And today the destruction provoked a standoff between the traders and forces of law and order in that market, and some houses have equally been marked for demolition, and the people are decrying what they qualify as forceful eviction without any solution to their plight. Smanjik and Gabriel has more.
Tear gas ready to be used, and security forces set to intervene should the population retaliate. This was the picture of Ndokpasi Market in the Douala 3 subdivision this Friday, where council officials went about demolishing makeshift structures along the road. Many only came to discover their stores broken and struggled to secure their properties. The traders say they were not informed about the destruction. We have had problems with a common initiative group that came to develop the market in partnership with the council. They came and destroyed 75 meters at first, promising to create a market which was on state land. After destroying it, they started work which has not finished till date. The second stage, which also started, has been delayed for 2 years now.
Les gens là, 75 mètres, ils ont construit une première partie qui n'ont même pas encore fini. Ils sont encore à la deuxième partie qui est en train de traîner depuis environ 2 ans.
Apart from the makeshift stores destroyed by council officials, some houses were marked for onward demolition, and the owners contest. They claim that everyone will leave when our kids have gone to school. When they return, where will they stay? It's not everyone who has the power and money to construct new houses. They say stealing is not good, but they are encouraging it because destroying our houses is sending some of us to go and steal and ladies into prostitution. A council official was quick to give reasons for the demolition exercise.
La mairie de Douala 3e, dans sa mission régalienne, qui est en train de mettre la propreté dans la ville.
The Douala 3 Council is doing its normal exercise of cleaning its zone. We didn't start at the Ndokpasi market. It concerns all of those occupying public spaces illegally that has been causing disorder. The mayor who is destroying is planning to relocate them to a council land.
Et la mairie s'est rendu compte qu'il a encore une partie de son espace que d'autres personnes occupent illégalement. Donc, elle s'est décidée donc à aller libérer cet espace afin de recaser les commerçants.
With some makeshift stores taken off the road, many believe that it is just a matter of days for these persons whose makeshift stores were destroyed to return to the road again.
According to council authorities, the destruction of the makeshift sheds is to fight against urban disorder around the Ndokpasi market in the Douala 3 subdivision. Now to the southwest regional chief town, Boya. Several persons are now homeless as a result of a fire incident, and of course the home or the house was burnt earlier today at Campaign Street or Street 7. Boya subdivision. Witnesses of the fire incident said that the fire began from an electrical cable before continuing into the house, and of course it consumed the entire house. The population of Street 7 that came out to put out the flames were also handicapped because for several days they have gone without water. The taps have been running dry in that neighborhood of Boya in the southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, and for now no human lives were lost, but the inferno caused enormous material damage in that area in Boya, southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. Now, ahead of the visit of the special envoy of Pope Francis to the northwest and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon, Fomi Armstrong Sander takes us into all what the Catholic Church has been doing. Notably, the bishops have been doing in efforts to restore peace and normalcy in the two English-speaking regions of the country. His report.
The Bamenda Ecclesiastical Province of the Roman Catholic Church is preparing to receive Cardinal Pietro Parolin, Secretary of State for the Vatican City, at a time when the Anglophone clergy and the entire Roman Catholic Church in this province have been laboring for over 3 years on diverse initiatives to end an armed conflict which has brought untold suffering to the people of the Anglophone northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. Since 2016, inter-religious leaders of the regions have repeatedly called on the government of Cameroon and separatists to cease all forms of hostilities and find a peaceful way out of the conflict, which has continued to multiply victims. A conflict with about 3,000 deaths, 700,000 internally displaced persons, and over 50,000 refugees in the neighboring Federal Republic of Nigeria. In December 2016, the bishops of Cameroon, through those of the Bamenda Provincial Episcopal Conference, addressed a memorandum to President Paul Biya in which they denounced the pains and atrocities of the war on the population of the northwest and southwest regions. The conflict got intensified with other outings and lobbyings. In 2017, President Paul Biya is received in audience by Pope Francis at the Vatican, with little filtered out for the press. With a deaf ear given to the demands of the National Episcopal Conference of Cameroon, Christian Cardinal Tumi, together with Muslim and Christian leaders of the Anglophone regions of Cameroon, came up with a 400-page document elaborating the demands and expectations of Anglophones and the request to organize an all-Anglophone General Conference, the AGC. The AGC initiative, which has never received the okay of the Yaoundé regime, with the Vatican particularly very concerned with the Anglophone crisis, Pope Francis could not be silent over the Kumba massacre in the southwest region, which he used to reiterate his call for a ceasefire. Popular opinion therefore holds that it is in the same light that Pope Francis is sending his Secretary of State to Cameroon from the 30th to the 31st of January 2020. Cardinal Pietro Parolin will have to live the realities of a people shattered and frustrated by an unending armed conflict between a Cameroonian army fighting and ever determined to restore normalcy in a territory where separatists are more and more determined to lord over. The most recent of the killings linked to the crisis in the Anglophone Cameroon are the attacks in Bengui in the northwest region, Bachwa in the west region, and Matu in the southwest region. If Pope Francis will use his heavy weight to practically end the Anglophone crisis is a question for time and space.
The senior divisional officer of the Donga-Matum division in the northwest region of Cameroon, Do Simon Quenti, goes to war against illegal forest exploitation. He has said that stringent measures will be taken against all those illegally exploiting the forest. He was speaking after the arrest of 21 Nigerian nationals who are said to have been illegally exploiting the forest in that part of the country, and they were arrested by elements of the National National Gendarmerie. Details with Immaculate Fogwe.
21 Nigerian illegal forest exploiters, accompanied by 2 suspected separatist fighters, now in the dragnet of the National Gendarmerie in Kambe, Dungamantum Division, Northwest region of Cameroon. The exploiters, who were on their way to Nigeria, were intercepted in Abafum, 35 kilometers away from Akko town.
So what you see here are truckloads of Cameroonian wood fraudulently exploited and transported to Nigeria by Nigerians with the complicity of certain Cameroonians. So the forces of law and order and security, in a mixed manner, lay hands on the young Nigerians you see here.
According to Dole Simon Quenty, Senior Divisional Officer, the money gotten from the sale of these wood is used for the procurement of arms and other dangerous weapons. The suspected separatist fighters had on them a gun, cartridges, and a knife.
Akko subdivision is one of the subdivisions of Dungamantum, blessed with natural wood. Akko still has the virgin woods that do not exist in other parts of Cameroon. But unfortunately, these virgin woods are being exploited by foreigners, sponsored sometimes by armed groups who wish to collect money therefrom and continue to buy weapons and terrorize the people and their properties.
He went ahead to warn all those who are illegally exploiting their forest, promising them that justice must prevail.
We want to say here and now that whoever tries to help in the dilapidation of our forests again will face the law, just as these guys are facing the law.
The fate of these victims will be determined in the court of law.
Coming up, Immaculate Fogwe takes a look at the problem of poor working conditions. This is a problem affecting a great proportion of the population of Cameroon, especially the poor and low-income earners and those who are unemployed, as well as those who are underemployed. Many of them are working in precarious conditions in different enterprises across the country, and trade unionists are now fighting to improve on the condition of workers in the country, notably those in Lum in the Mungo division have promised or have committed themselves to the fight to improve on the working conditions of workers in that part of the country. Immaculate Fogwe has more.
Every employee has the right to be treated with dignity and respect in the workplace. But that is not the case in some public and private companies in Cameroon, which are accused of taking advantage of the naivety of their workers by mistreating them and equally exposing them to all sorts of danger, violating their dignity and human right. Several employees in Cameroon have been dismissed unfairly, with many others working for very long hours with little or no pay. Faced with these challenges, members of the Workers' Trade Union in Lum, Mungo Division of the Lithra region are holding a meeting has as aim to bring up ideas that can ameliorate the working conditions of employees in their area.
Le rôle du syndicat,
the role of the syndicate is to protect and defend the rights of employees. We were made to understand that we have the right to certain services as employees. The security of workers should be taken into consideration. Many of us were unaware about our rights as employees. According to the members of the Loom Workers' Trade Union, companies equally need to be protected from fake news. They say they are determined to fully defend the rights of workers in their area.
And this is where we draw the curtains on this weekend edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Équinoxe Television. I've been Babble Jonathan. Coming up next, Sejalan Utu with Équinoxe.